Hey YouTube, welcome to Trevor's Vinyl World. Today I'm going to do a little what if, and bear with me now because it's going to be two things that you just have to imagine. And this is just for fun. I've always been a huge Eazy-E fan. I was a huge NWA fan. I really wish they would have stayed together longer. And I still like Dre, obviously like Eazy-E, Ice Cube, all that. But today I just want to do two what ifs, okay? What if Eazy-E had not died of HIV or AIDS, however you want to explain it. So what if Eazy-E was still healthy today and had not contracted HIV? And also, what if he would have been the one to discover Eminem? Okay? So let's say both of those things happen. Okay? Now, what did happen was Eazy-E passed away in 1995. Him and Dre did come to like a mutual, like, hey, let's bury the hatchet. I mean, it's pretty sad that Eazy-E died, and I think Dre, swallowed some of his pride, and at the end of the day, you know, they didn't want like Eazy-E to go out with there being like drama between the two of them. Like, let's just say that. But I think if Eazy-E would have just stayed healthy, I think the beef with Dre and Eazy-E would have gone on for a little while. And part of that is because neither one of them was going to back down. And also because of Snoop Dogg. Snoop was a really, really good rapper in the 90s. I think he's become not as good of a rapper nowadays because you get lazy and everybody just gives Snoop a pass. I mean, it isn't like he's under any stress to release, like new good material. He's just one of those guys who's a legend, and I think people are just happy that he shows up. He shows up to the Olympics. He shows up wherever Snoop's at. There's a party. Everyone loves that he's this huge, weed smoker, and I'm not trying to hate on Snoop. I just think that for some reason he does get a pass, and I think that because of that, he hasn't released the most impressive discography like Kendrick Lamar or any of these top rappers. They don't have to worry about Snoop, overtaking them. And but back in the 90s, I mean, like when The Chronic came out, you could just hear how talented Snoop was on there. And I think that if Dre and Eazy-E still had beef back in the 90s and Eazy-E is healthy, I think Snoop would have came up with a whole bunch of songs where he's like, fuck Eazy-E, and it would have been hilarious and entertaining, and I would have enjoyed it because I would have also enjoyed Eazy-E coming back and having him and his homies talking shit about Dre and about how the music that Dre makes is paying Eazy-E. So I do like beef. I like, it's kind of like in the NBA when you get two teams that you could tell they don't like each other. It just makes for a better game. But anyways, I do think that Dre and Eazy-E would have continued to have beef. And then at some point when Dre left Death Row, which I think even if Eazy-E would have lived, I still think Dre would have left Death Row because Suge Knight was a psychopath. And Dre realized he could go off on his own. He didn't need Suge. And once Dre started Aftermath Entertainment, they partnered with Interscope, and that made Dre huge. Dre was able to, if he released an album, they had the way of getting it out to, anyone in the universe. So no matter what, I think Dre was going to be successful. And I think if Eazy-E would have stayed alive, he would have remained successful, grinding it out, representing Compton. He discovered Bone Thugs and Harmony. And if he would have been the one to discover Eminem, it would have been really interesting to see this huge juggernaut of Dr. Dre with Aftermath and Interscope versus Eazy-E and with Eminem and Bone Thugs and Harmony. I think it would have been amazing, actually. And I think Bone Thugs and Harmony would have stayed true to Eazy-E for the whole long run. I want to say Bone Thugs and Harmony, they stayed with Ruthless Records, which was Eazy-E's, up until about 2002. So they did stay loyal. But if Eazy-E were around today, like Dre, I think Bone Thugs and Harmony, they would have stayed all through the early 2000s. Maybe it would have helped them, and it obviously would have helped Eazy-E's career. Just something to think about. I also think that if Eazy-E would have stayed healthy, it definitely would have helped some of the rappers that were on Eazy-E's side. There were people that tried to stay neutral, like when Dre and Eazy were going at it. Some people wanted to be neutral, but there also were guys that were like, no, I'm on Eazy-E's side because Eazy-E is like real gangster rap, whereas Dre is like a poser. But it's just something I thought about earlier. Obviously, I can't go back in time. I can't save Eazy-E's life. And I'm also not trying to make light of it or fun of it. I've always been a huge Eazy-E fan. Ever since I was like, I know I've said it in one of my other videos, like whether it was 5th or 6th grade, where I was buying Eazy-E CDs off a kid at elementary school. And there was just something about him that I always liked him. And I never took, like a lot of people criticize the vulgarity and the explicit lyrics and all that's in rap music and hip hop. But I think I was always able to take that in, but not I never let that change my personality. I just looked at it almost like when you watch a movie and the movie is too violent or too vulgar, but you're just like, okay, well, it's entertainment and I like this sometimes. Like, I don't just listen to rap, but it's definitely one of my favorite genres. And I was just always into Eazy-E and Ice Cube. Yeah. So anyways, I just thought of that, and I am happy that Dre is still around. I'm happy that Ice Cube is still around. And I do like that Eazy-E is one of those artists that has not been forgotten. You still see, like, I have a couple Eazy-E shirts, but it is neat that, like, people still rep Eazy-E, people still listen to his music. So yeah, but anyways, just wanted to talk about that for a second, and like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to look into, I want to say once I have 50 subscribers, I think then I can go live. I have to look more into that, but anyways, everyone have a great day, and talk to you later. Thanks.